Hi friends. I just did a live video over my business page a few minutes ago, but the topic that's really in my heart is this one, not that. And I've been having these conversations and there's all the everything that's going on, right? And I've had some interesting conversations about people who disagree with the way I see things, which is fine. We're all entitled to think for ourselves and to form our own thoughts. That's great. But here's the thing that's missing that's just missing over and over and over again. I'm watching all of these videos, all of these things that are being posted, especially when we're talking about the responsibility of the Black community, or the portion of the Black community that's out protesting and Black Lives Matter and fighting for what they view as justice, right? The thing that keeps missing in these conversations is the question, why? Why? Anytime we look at someone, right, and we judge who they are and where they are, do we stop to ask the question, why are they there, right? And this is a topic, I'll tell you, this is a topic that's super sensitive to me. And I'm going to share a couple examples not related at all to the current political climate. A long time ago, I was in, and I shared this story before, so you're going to hear it again. A long time ago, I was downtown Salt Lake. During my photo program, I was photographing with a friend. We were just taking pictures downtown. We were outside of Crossroads Mall. Walking out, this teenage kid is like, hey, can you buy me some food? He's a homeless kid, right? Or he asked for money or something. Anyway, we bought him some food and we had this conversation with him. And my friend asked him what his name was, and his name was Sleepy. And he asked, why is your name Sleepy? And he talked about how his parents smoked a lot of marijuana and leave it laying around the house, and as a toddler he'd eat it and just end up passing out, so his parents started calling him Sleepy. And you can look at this kid without that story and you can think, and excuse my language here, but you can think, here's a kid that's just made a bunch of shitty decisions, right? You can look at this kid and you can think like, you can cross the street and avoid him, you can whatever. But this is a kid who is where he is because of the context of his life experience, right? And another more personal example that I won't get too much into is addiction, right? There's a loved one who's been an addict, and you can look at the choices people make. You can look at an addict and you can look at them and you can say all the normal things, like they're being selfish, they don't care about how their choices are impacting their family and their friends, they don't care about how what they're doing to their bodies, they don't care. But the reality is that addiction isn't about being high. Addiction is about numbing pain, right? And sometimes the pain is so great that the addict would rather numb the pain and take the consequences of all those other things than to feel it, right? Because it's so big and it's so intense. And then you think, well, why don't you just deal with it? Why don't you get the support you need? Well, what if you don't know how? Right? What if you don't know how to get support? What if you don't know how to have the conversation to say, look, I need help, right? And so when we look at the current political climate, when we look at all that's happening, and when I was watching this video posted by a friend, and it had a clip of Denzel Washington in it. And Denzel was talking, and he's saying, and it was another guy too, and they're posting statistics about primarily inner city Black families, and how in the past there were two-parent homes and now they're single-parent homes. And they're talking about how Denzel was talking about how out of his friends he was the only one that had a loving father in the home, and he's the only one that didn't go to prison. That's great. But why didn't the other kids have dads at home? We're not asking that question. And you can't say it's because, well, they were just shitty people. No. I'm sorry, I will stand till the day that I die on the foundation that there is no such thing as bad people. There isn't. There's no such thing as bad people. There's people who have had shitty circumstances dealt right? There's kids who have grown up without parents, or with the idea that survival is paramount, right? That you're looking at your little sister and thinking, how is she going to get food? How am I going to protect her? And then your instinct kicks in, or whatever, right? When we keep boiling these narratives down about take responsibility for yourself, when we boil it down and we ask, why aren't people taking responsibility for themselves? Why aren't they digging themselves out? Why isn't this happening? When we keep asking ourselves, why? Please, please, for the love of all, ask yourself, why? And stand on the foundation of that answer when you make your political statements and your political arguments. Because if you're not seeing people as human beings, and you're not recognizing the entire context of their experience, and Denzel was, to go back to his point, his friends didn't have fathers, and he said, why didn't they have fathers? Because their fathers didn't have fathers. Interesting. And where were their fathers? And why weren't they in the home? Right? Get curious about that. Ask those questions, please. That is my public plea to you, is wherever you find yourself, whatever stance you're going to take it because you've boiled down all the whys to the very, very bottom, until you get to the root of why it's happening. And then let's have a conversation, and then let's talk about it, right? But guys, there's no such thing as bad people. We're just people doing the best that we can with what we've been dealt, and sometimes with what we've been dealt sucks, right? And sometimes the consequences of that suck. And I don't know, you put yourself in some of those shoes, you take away all the advantages that you've been given, all the privileges you've been given, and I'm not talking white privilege, I'm just talking human privilege. And then you see where you end up, So anyway, I love you, I see you, I adore you. Ask yourself why.